What's up, everybody? It's your old pal David, and welcome to Tiny Bunny. I just found this game on Steam. It's free, so I downloaded it. It's apparently supposed to be a little bit spooky. Visual novel style game. It's a little bit scary. So I know nothing about this. Let's just jump right in, shall we? Prepare to get spooked. The wind clawed at my window all night long. It wandered the fields and howled like a hungry beast. An endless song weaved from all sorts of voices, shrill, gentle, sneery, twined in the air. They were shouting and laughing and arguing about something. Someone was running through the snow while casting long shadows that would occasionally creep close to my bed. Our house had a mind of its own, the creaky old mind of a building that had seen a lot in its days and was seemingly trying to share its wisdom with its inhabitants. The lonely house faced the forest, and the dark green thicket gazed back with its hollow eyes. Rustling, whizzing, swaying back and forth. One could come out and stand at the edge of the forest to reassure themselves there was nobody behind the crooked trees. Fuzzy silhouettes swaying in the wind couldn't possibly do any harm. So you think? It's just a play of light and shadow, right? Just a play. I knew it was just my imagination. I was already 12 after all. An old boy. Still. A little fox! Cute little fox! This game isn't scary at all! Wish you got some shit on your mouth. I like the art style in this game, actually, a lot. Hey, put away your book! That cannot be her voice. Hey, put away your book! How many times have I told you not to read at the table? It's bad for your health! Look at how slouched you are! Tell me about it. I've got a pretty bad slouch myself. Hide. Hide the book. Right in front of her. She's standing right there. I'm pretty sure she would have seen that. I didn't protest and put the book about Conan the Barbarian aside. I was stuck on a line I couldn't understand. He's slowly becoming British. I was stuck on a line I couldn't understand after reading it 3 times anyway. Happens in books. Olia had already finished her breakfast and was munching on some cookies. She was so enthusiastic she almost looked like your typical girl from commercials. You know, the typical kind. You're not going anywhere until you finish all of it. I, on the other hand, was still trying to drill a hole in the plate with my eyes, as if it would make the porridge disappear. Hazy anxiousness welled up inside, all because of the previous sleepless night, the black forest around our house, and the gloomy wind. The longer I waited, the colder the lumpy white substance became. Gross. That's fucking nasty. Mom, this porridge is fucking disgusting. How do you expect me to eat this? It looked like a jellyfish from the Cousteau Odyssey. Cousteau, like Jacques Cousteau, Odyssey. I love that show. I wonder how horrifying the bottom of the ocean is. Fucking terrifying. Bro, it's just a bunch of aliens down there. Things that'll suck your soul out of your face. Or how cold the black forest is at night. The spoon fell out of my hand. I was having a stroke. Mom showered me with a cold glare from her green eyes. What did I just say? I don't know who Anton is. I'll get it! He's a little frog creature, apparently, in my mind. I had 10 seconds to catch my breath before battling the nasty porridge once again. But I also disappeared. Where the fuck did I go? I felt around for the spoon. Oh, I'm Anton. That makes sense. What is this carved on the other side of the table? Oh, Karina. That's a different language, apparently. Karina. Ha! That's my mom's name. I guess she carved it out with something pointy when she was little. She sure was a rascal, damaging the furniture like that. Filthy bitch. She would scold me for a week if I did something similar, though. Should I remind her about it? No, she's been in a bit of a bad mood lately. I imagined her being my age, sitting under this table. I wonder, was Mom afraid of the dark back then? For sure she was. Or the sounds coming from the attic? Or the thick forest? Woof, who dat? Chin pubes, McGee? I imagine my grandma. I imagine my grandma coming into my little mom's room. My little mom. Sitting at the edge of her bed where Olia sleeps nowadays, and saying this in her soft, smooth voice. Jiger is a special place, little girl. That's not very smooth. It's watching you closely, sniffing you out. Trying to discern what kind of beast you are. If you're a good sort, it won't abandon you in times of trouble. But if you're a bad apple, it'll grab you by the side and drag you under the ground. And that would be it. You'd be dead as fuck. Grandma was caring. She never fought with anybody, never yelled, never swore. Those were the times without the maddening screams until late at night, without smashed dishes and mutual accusations. Our parents used to love each other back then. I remember listening in on one of their conversations by chance. They were talking about Grandma getting prepared for her funeral. She had already bought a casket. Oof, dark. And she called it her cute funeral box. Oh, that's kind of sweet. I waited for its time in the closet, patiently. It was black, upholstered with meat-colored material. Why would you even refer to it like that? Meat-colored material on the inside. I saw it when my grandma was getting buried. The house didn't change since the time she was alive, only all of the photos were gone. Glass-covered pictures with gray faces of my ancestors. They all had a dead but watchful look in their eyes. I crawled out from under the table. Olia was done with her cookies and was looking at my share like a sly woodland creature. I turned my gaze toward the frosted window. There were a lot of dark pines outside, but they didn't grab my attention. The pattern of frost formed a picture on the glass. Like this. Olia, look! It's a fox! Where? It looked almost like those optical illusion thingies they put on the back of student notebooks. A mixture of lines at first glance, but if you blur your vision a little bit... I could never do those. Could you guys do those? I could never... The magic eyes or whatever, I could never get my shit to work with those. Maybe a little bit, but I couldn't see a picture there. Like I could see some layers, but... And look under a certain angle. Not outside, on the window. Look, here's the nose, and here's... Hey, eat up! Yes, just a moment. I don't see anything. The mom and Olia sound the same, because I only have one lady voice, apparently. Hurry up, there's not much left. Ah, there it is. But it still doesn't look like one. And I'm telling you it does. You gots to believe me. Nuh-uh, it does. Stop it, these kids, I swear. Now I couldn't see the fox either. He ran the fuck away. It's like, look at this family. Disgruntled family. It disappeared. It went away. Only the frosty patterns, similar to stretched out nettle leaves, kept creeping up the glass. Oh! That was scary. Came out of nowhere. My dad entered the kitchen with long, measured steps. Looking hot as fuck. Looking prim and proper in his sweater and collared shirt. I want to have a beard like his when I grow up. Mom would always ask jokingly, "Come on, shave it off, it stings." It stings? This was so long ago. Nowadays, rumbling doors and witty comebacks were an everyday occurrence. Olia always covers her ears whenever she hears something like, "What's the point in all this?" through the wall. It's all for your sake, Dad would reply, for the sake of our family. I always caught every sound in fear of hearing the most dreaded, the deadliest word that started with a D. Dick. Devo. Oh, divorce. I don't even want to finish it, even though I just said it. It was scary to imagine that me and my little sister could be torn apart and taken into two different families. Well, deal with it, man. A lot of us are dealing with it, so grow up. Okay? A lot of us have dealt with it, and we moved on. Happy people. Anyway, your fox is nothing. I have an owl on my window. You and your owl... you... Boy, I do not have a deep voice. You and your owl talk again. You said... Oh. You said you believed me just yesterday. Has anybody seen my car keys? I remember leaving them on the windowsill. Right. Maybe you did, and maybe not. You're a grown man, a father of two, and still... Stop being a bitch, Margaret. I mean, Karina. Please stop. Just let me get ready in peace. Your keys are in the basket near the phone. Anton, stop making a martyr out of yourself and finish eating already. A martyr? I'm not making a martyr out of myself. This shit is chunky white food. It's nasty, Dad. I don't want to eat it. And the owl? There was no owl. But there was one. It had giant glowing eyes. Whoa. Olius. Oh. Juggling all these voices. Olia sprung up from the chair and placed her hands on her little face, imitating a pair of eyes with her fingers the size of an apple each. Last year you had Babai. Last year you had Babai in your closet, and now this owl? But I saw it! Olia shifted her gaze back and forth from Dad to Mom to me, but couldn't find any support. Have you thought about befriending it? You know, like feeding it with imaginary mice? Don't bully a girl. She's just afraid to sleep alone because she's still little. Olia pouted her lips in rebellion and rushed into the hallway. The staircase that led to the second floor creaked. Mom gave Dad a strict look. Yeah, she's pissed. Oh, that look in her eyes, it's so uncomfortable to be pinned under it. Dad just kind of fucking bounced, ringing with the keys he just found. A minute had passed and the theme song from The Little Mermaid echoed through the house. It was stored on an incredibly worn-out cassette tape which Dad already had to glue together once. Glue together. It's so easy to fix objects by gluing them back together, example. It's not that easy. Glue is shitty most of the time for fixing shit. But how do you fix a relationship? Wow, this is really getting into it. Nitty-gritty relationship stuff. Mom moved to the living room and I was left alone, anxiously stealing glances at the window. Whoa. Olia had trouble sleeping ever since we moved to this house. She would toss and turn or curl up into a ball under her blanket. Sometimes she would jump up in the middle of the night and turn on the VCR. Cartoons helped her take her mind off all the troubles we had with the move and our parents. Ah, motherfucker! Fuga! Luga laga laga irudza. There's that demon in the window. And then Olia said she saw that giant flying monster outside her window. She became obsessed with it. Our parents did everything in their power. They tried every little trick to get rid of those ridiculous fears. That's not ridiculous. That's a very justified fear. That thing will murder you. That's a murder monster right there. I know, because I've seen stuff. Olia refused to sleep alone and didn't believe that the owl was just one of her nightmares. Oh, it's an owl. After tonight, I was unsure what to make of my sister's words, what to think of it myself. Can nightmares be infectious? Hell yeah, they can. Just last night, I couldn't get a wink of sleep and ended up thinking of what to expect in my new school. What's it gonna pop out? I don't like this. There were a couple of days left before the beginning of a new term. My imagination drew long, twisting hallways that led to a classroom full of kids. But all the students behind their desks were simply dark figures cut out using a template. Circular holes gaped in the middle of their faces, and pairs of eyes blinked inside those holes. It was as if some completely different creatures were looking at me from behind the flat black silhouettes. Creepy. Their cruel glares, filled with icy sneers, made me shiver from head to toe. Will I survive here? Won't they gang up on me and beat me down, stomp on me with their bloodied shoes? No, dude. It's all in your head. The damn school can burn for all I care. I just wished for anything to happen to it. Doesn't really matter what. I didn't want to go there that badly. I didn't want to see people who are just itching to smack me on the head, trip me up, think of a new offensive name for me, worse than the previous one. I felt like the glasses I wore made me an outsider or some sort of a monster. They don't make you a monster, they just make you a smart-looking boy. They just make you read better. My gaze slid across the drawings hanging on the walls. I couldn't consider myself a great artist, but Olia begged me to hang them. Drawing was the only thing that made me happy as of late. Good for you, finding a hobby. The small circle of friends I had also enjoyed my paintings, and they promised to call me from time to time. Sometimes I imagine Mom picking up the phone and saying in a cold voice, "You've got the wrong number." Or, "Anton is not around." Even though I am around, lying. She's lying. Anton is not around. I imagine my future classmates lying in their beds just like me, listening to the howls of invisible werewolves outside their windows. Maybe my new classmates will like me after all. Maybe we're all fucking nutty. But who would ever like a boy with thick glasses? I've never had glasses before, but I wonder how many of y'all with glasses were super self-conscious about that shit. I remember being self-conscious about the mole on my face. Like early in elementary school. Like, I don't think anything of that shit now, but it was such a huge deal when I was first going to school and first interacting with other people. I was like, oh my god, this mole on my face, everyone's gonna fucking hate me. Kids are funny. I mean, my dad used to wear glasses when he was little, and now he's married to the most beautiful woman on the planet, my mom. I'd really like to fuck her. The house creaked, pressed by the wind. The condo we used to live in, a 9-floor concrete building, buzzed with the neighbor's drill, mumbled with a TV set from behind the wall, cried like a baby from the big family next door. Our current house, though I can't really call it new, was completely different. It was silent and easygoing during the day. Its shadows lay dormant in the corners, on the closet, cobwebs, and under the stairs. It got real quiet, some creaking. We've got some creaking going on right now. It's creepy. But they all woke up during the night. Yeah, I hear that. Something was watching me from every corner, almost as if the old photos of my deceased family with... diseased? The old photos of my diseased family. Yeah, I think they mean deceased. But that's almost creepier. Old photos of my diseased family with their ashen eyes were hanging on the walls in place of my drawings. Well, that's fucking creepy. Grandma's Michael Jackson. The floor was squeaking, rusty drains were moaning, the attic was occupied by noisy drafts. One could think the house was performing some sort of demonic melody. God, remember trying to fall asleep as a kid? I used to sleep with a blanket over my head, and I would just make a little hole so I could breathe out of it, but everything else would be covered except that little hole that I could breathe under, and that protected me from all the scary shit. Apparently did the trick. And then I realized I was in fact hearing music. It was already playing for a good while. Somewhere at the edge of my perception I could hear a flute. It was mixed in with the sound of the wind, of the creaking old house, and my thoughts too. Man, it's fucking going off right now. They're jamming. Some good music. I stood up and rushed to the window. I wanted to reassure myself that this house was nothing more than a product of my imagination. It's not like someone is playing it there amidst the cold snowy night, right? Or they are. I guess I'll open it. Oh, look at him. Someone was dancing in the field. Well, there's multiple people out there animals, I'd say. Black silhouettes I could barely make out, with the dark forest as their backdrop. They jumped around, basked in moonlight, bumped into piles of snow, rolled around, and crawled on all fours. Stories about wolves playing under the moon came to mind, but these were clearly not wolves. Clearly? How's that clear? They could be wolves. They stood upright at times, circled around holding hands and whipping up snow, disappearing into the shadows for a brief moment and then coming back. Something bizarre was going on, yeah, I'll say. Animals are turning into people and having late night dance parties. Shadows dancing in the starless abyss made my imagination go wild, making me anxious at the same time. Suddenly the music had stopped. Ooh, that's creepy, they're all just staring at me. Ah, did they see me? The dancing shadows froze in place and I could swear pierced me with their eyes. One of the silhouettes immediately parted from the bizarre shadow carnival and sprinted across the field with giant leaps. Oh, motherfuck! Okay. It glided on squeaky snow without leaving any prints until it was devoured by the pitch-black shadow of my house, which became even darker, thicker. My heart was jumping around like the bird inside a cage, or like a bird. I shut the curtains with a swift motion and stepped back toward the bed. Yes, as would I. Fuck. They saw me. A freezing torrent of fear washed over me. I stood in the middle of a perfectly dark room and listened to some unwanted guest move and scrape around, looking for an entrance. The sound moved to the right, then circled around the house. Now my guest should be at the front door. I jumped into the bed and covered myself with the blanket as if it could protect me. It can protect you. It worked for me. It'll work for you. Promise. The shackles of fear locked my muscles. I remembered the funeral, my grandma lying there in that meat-colored coffin. Hands crossed on her chest, her facial features sharp like that of a tin doll. Ants running up and down the legs of chairs that held my grandma's casket. Ew, gross. I imagined those little creatures climbing up her head and pulling up her eyelids with their tiny legs. Then her wrinkly eyeballs. Ew, this is giving me the chills. Then her wrinkly eyeballs would once again move inside their sockets and she'd be able to see her grandchildren. I was chanting the spell she taught me throughout the whole procedure, and now, lying under the blanket and listening to squeaks and howls, I was repeating the same words. On the island of Bouillon, underneath the blemished sun, in the sea of color blue, stands a cabin made of wood. There lay hard and ashen hair for the spawn from devil's lair, to feast and always leave alone God's faithful servant named Anton. Not Anton. Anton. Evil leave this house must. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Bizarre sounds had disappeared. I cautiously peeked out from under the blanket and saw curtains waving around like a hangman. What's going on? And then the night doused me with a new portion of boiling terror. The sound scratched at my eardrums. In reality, something or someone were scratching at the front door, hurriedly clawing at wood, demanding to be let in. The door was shut. Dad had become very cautious recently, so he installed a sturdy lock. I remember him staring at the forest intently as if he was looking for someone. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I hugged my knees, placing my chin between them, and drilled the door with my eyes. It was so flimsy and weak before the might of darkness. And then... Please, nothing scary happened. The doorknob twitched slightly. It's just my mom. It's just Mama coming in. Then it turned halfway, once, twice, as if the person who tried to enter had no hands. The doorknob tilted once more, and then started clicking violently. My jaw cramped from fear. My wet fingers clutched to the blanket. Goo! Crickety-dickety-doo! The wind taunted me, moaning inside the tin drains. Now you'll see. The door was wide open. The darkness writhed inside the carnivorous mouth of the doorway. Jody! It was as if the night itself was calling out to me, flapping its black wings and squeaking with rusty hinges. I was trembling, ensnared by the web of darkness that hung in the corners of my room, waiting for the one who weaved it to come out of the gaping black hole. Tony! Is that a scary voice? Tony! I'm coming, Tony! My abdomen tightened and my chest rose up, ready to exhale a desperate scream, but before I was able to do anything, the darkness asked me, "Hey, Tony, you asleep?" Is it Olia? Is it my sister? Yeah, it's just a sister. Jeez, way to freak out over nothing, Antone. My sister's pale face protruded from the thick shadows. I almost screamed from relief. Olia, I'm not sleeping. Did something happen? Olia frowned and stuck out her lower lip, a clear sign that she was about to cry. It's there again, staring at me. Oh, well, fuck. We'd moved from thinking we're okay right over to there's a fucking evil owl monster just in her room. We're just moving from one problem to another, aren't we? Shoo her away, Tony, please. I'm so scared. The fear that was tormenting me just a minute ago crawled away and hid somewhere in my stomach. I needed to calm Olia down. It was just a dream, silly. Don't be scared. Dreams don't bite. No one's going to harm you. You're a fucking liar, Antone. You were just shivering in your boots 2 seconds ago. Olia sobbed. She was trying her best to believe me. But was I sure myself? No, fuck no, you're not sure. I have an idea. Let's go to your room and watch the video, Sleeping Beauty, for example. Yeah, that's a good one. You like that cartoon, don't you? Why does Sleeping Beauty have a prince and I have a scary bird? Yeah, that doesn't seem fair, does it? That question took me by surprise. Alright, let's watch Cinderella. That is another depressing one. My thoughts became tangled and fuzzy. What was that? She disappeared! What studied me with its eyes while dancing feverishly under the moon. The darkness was clinging to the window, and it couldn't be fooled by Grandma's old chants. It couldn't be satisfied with a feast of lard and long ashen hair. Ooh. Tony, you coming? Yes, just a moment. Motherfucker! You got me. Jump scares, man. Fuck you. Ooh, just a dream? Good God. That's why I didn't want to laugh at Olia and her owl in the morning. Who could be visiting us here in the middle of nowhere? We don't know anyone around here. It's the wolf man. Careful, Mama. So persistent. I felt extremely unsettled from just a silly thought that our morning guests could have come from the woods. I could barely hear voices coming from the front door. My mind was urging me to hide. In the closet. Yeah, they'll find you there, man. It's the basic hiding spot. You gotta be more clever. Under the table. You gotta be more clever than that, too. That's pretty basic as well. You just jump out the window and run. Behind the curtains where Olia always hides. This is a little bit better. Tony, come here! I felt like kettlebells were tied to my feet, but still dragged them toward the hallway. Kettlebells is an interesting, like if you're gonna try and come up with something heavy, you just say stones. Just very specific. A couple of policemen towered over me in the doorway. They smelled like frost and worry. What? Those don't smell like anything. My mom always winced and grumbled the moment she saw patrol cars. Worse than bandits. At the moment, though, she looked somewhat confused. Hello? The senior officer, who wore a grim expression, nodded. A boy had gone missing yesterday. His name's Vova. Look at this, please. Have you seen him? The policeman held out a photograph to me. There was a ginger boy with a ginger cat. There was a ginger boy around the age of elementary school, pictured with a wall carpet as the backdrop. He had a striped cat in his hands and wore a wide smile. No, I haven't. Are you sure? Look closely. Where would I see him? I don't know anyone around here. I barely leave the house. Well, maybe you've seen him from the window. That's right. Your windows look straight at the forest, don't they? The window. Oh! The ginger boy was in the dance party. No, I haven't seen anything. Except for a crazy dance party. I see. He sounded tired, but his eyes, his stare, long and heavy, was full of suspicion. This boy is very fluent in, for his age. He's very well read. I squirmed unwittingly. Who uses what? I forget what age he is. What is he, like 10? No 10-year-old uses the word unwittingly. Come on. Or maybe they do, I don't know. I squirmed unwittingly under the weight of guilt, which is giant shadow cast over me. The policeman finally tore his eyes from me and glanced over the hallway, the stairway and the cracks in the ceiling, which I haven't noticed before for some reason. How do you like your new place, by the way? Getting used to it? Bit by bit, it's just our little daughter misses the city a lot. Misses the city, huh? Have the locals been treating you well? Yes, everything is alright, thank you. Everything's okay, thanks. The policeman pierced through me one more time with his gray eyes. My head started spinning. Can I help you somehow? We've been over this. I asked that in a shaky voice to look like a polite boy and to end this unpleasant conversation sooner. Now that I think about it, you look just like one of my nephews, little fella. He's a witty boy around your age, wears the same type of goggles. Always engrossed in reading those mystery novels. He's a huge dork, just like you. Told me he wants to enroll in police school when his family visited this summer. Wanted to help other people, just like me, see? I'm a fucking badass. I felt uncomfortable, as if a distant relative and not a police officer stood before me. You know what? Little boys like you should stay at home, steer away from trouble. The times have changed so much. Mom interjected in a cold voice. You don't say. Well then, what grade are you in, Tony boy? What does that fucking matter? Get out of here, you pedo. Sixth? Sixth? Have you made any friends here so far? Not yet, but I'll be going to school for the first time after the break. Then I'll leave you my number just in case, wink wink. Call me if you have any new info. Do you like candy? I've got plenty of candy at my house. The policemen were going along with their shadows, the smell of cheap cologne and the photo of a smiling boy. His face still stood before my eyes. I wondered what it was like for him being all alone there. For some reason, I thought of the forest swaying in the wind. What did his poor parents feel? And what would my parents do if I'd gone missing? Would they cry and thrash around hysterically? Or would they accuse each other like they always do and forget about me eventually? Mom, this Vora, did he go missing in our forest? Seems like it, poor child. The mom's voice has been all over the place. Cut me some slack. I don't do voices. But she's just a shrewd English woman apparently right now. Seems like it, poor child. I looked out the window at the road. The police UAZ drove off towards the village. The officer's nephew came to mind when I was splitting off old paint from the windowsill. I remembered all the teenage mystery novels from the Black Kitty series I've read this summer. Your average boys and girls investigated all sorts of mysteries there. They looked for clues, spied on suspicious people, and after a set of amazing adventures, BAM! Solved any complicated case. They became local celebrities and must have made their parents very proud. I noticed a trail of policemen's footprints that led to the forest, and then it clicked in my head. Why don't I start an investigation of my own? Why the fuck would you go out there? Maybe I'll find that lost boy. Maybe we'll get murdered by animal parties, the dance party animals. And I'll get a reward. Olya will be so happy. He seems so, like, brave all of a sudden. And not only Olya, Mom and Dad too. Maybe they'll even forget about their quarrels for a while. Nah, dude, they're getting divorced, man. Just deal with it. Maybe I'll even save us from the D word? Save us from that dick? I fantasize about buying Olya a Tamagotchi. Ooh, Tamagotchis are fun. and getting a cassette player and a bunch of tapes for myself, and a whole box of Kinder Surprise. When was the last time our parents bought us any toys? Last autumn, I think. My dad had lost his job at the time. There's that annoying song about it. I had little to no idea what was the accountant's job. I had little to no idea what was the accountant's job like. They count money, I think. Neighbors used to envy us, but nowadays Mom and Dad barely had money to afford sweets, and Dad would always divide a single chocolate bar between me and Olia. Sometimes I gave her my share too. No matter how much I wanted to eat sweets, she was still just a pipsqueak. I couldn't wait to go out looking for clues. I'm going outside. Yeah, right. You want the police to go around with your photograph next? The forest is so thick. What if the boy got snatched up by wild animals? Or something even worse? Even worse echoed through the hallway. I won't go far. I'll stay away from the forest. Did you hear what I said? Or should I repeat myself? Better go pack your school bag or play with Olia. She's a hot young lady. She doesn't sound like that, David. What a terrible... Just sometimes that voice comes out of nowhere. The sound of splashing water came from the kitchen. It meant that the argument was over and Mom had the last word and was finally doing the dishes like she should be. Sorry. Oh, options, huh? Dark, stuffy closet. Mom says it smells like mice, but how would she know their smell? She a mouse herself? She hates when I stick my nose in there. She's afraid I'll cut myself on the freshly sharpened axe. And Olia can't even be lured close to it. She thinks Baba is living there. I tried to help her fight her fears once. I opened the door and turned on a dim lamp, so she would see there was nothing but cobwebs, Dad's tools, and scratched walls. She still didn't believe me, and I like to hide in the closet and listen to Olia count outside. 1, 2, 3, better hide from me. And then drag her feet on the creaking floorboards, hoping that she wouldn't need to look for me in the cramped monster's den. Okie dokes. Go to the kitchen. Hello, son. How do you do? If I could turn back time, if I could find a way. This freezer's name is Okay. Ew, gross. What's in there? Is that a baby? Oh, it looks like a baby. A little baby head there, no? Grandma kept ice cream for me and Olia there, but now I could only see meat bits for soup and clumped together. Pelmeni. Pelmeni, I've never heard of that. I grew to hate them already. Okay, well, just doing some good investigating in here. Got my meat bits. There's a sharpened axe somewhere. What's this? Okay. The side of an old ocean freezer was checkered with my childish drawings. Mom's recipes and all kinds of stickers from bubblegum with dinosaurs that Olia liked so much. Hey, you like dinosaurs too? I love dinosaurs. Got a dinosaur right here. So, am I supposed to be like doing stuff now? Among that still life picture hung a piece of ruled paper with the phone number of the police officer who visited us. I was thinking about giving him a call. I was feeling pretty randy. First Lieutenant Tiknik Koneknev, I read inside my mind, looking at the officer's sprawling handwriting. A scrap of paper was held by 2 pieces of a broken magnet from some old Soviet toy, and those pieces just barely covered up the numbers as if to taunt me. I leaned toward it to unveil the mystery and take the piece to a safer place where it would wait for its time when I would finally find Vova and be the first to call the police with the happy news. Anton! Mom's reproachful eyes stared at me. What do you need it for? Hands off, you'll lose it! Angering my mom was the last thing I wanted to do. I didn't want to hear that fucking shrill voice anymore. Okay, so we're just gonna be looking at stuff and we're gonna be We're gonna be doing some investigative work. We'll do that on the next time. I'm gonna take a little break and we'll be back. So anyway, thank you for joining me, and I will see you on the next episode of